Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Brody Carter. Today, new threats against Israel. Hezbollah expanding its attacks on northern Israel, firing rockets into communities it had not hit before. And rival Palestinian groups, Hamas and Fatah, reach an agreement, facilitated by China. Here in the U.S., Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu set to address a joint session of Congress today. But the Democrats are divided over their support for the Jewish state. We'll bring you a deeper look at those divisions. Plus, the Secret Service has a new temporary director following the resignation of Kimberly Cheatle after the agency failed to protect former President Donald Trump from an assassination attempt. And as a young man, he wanted to sing, and his father gave him that opportunity, which led to an amazing musical journey. Those stories and more today on NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin in the Middle East, where Hezbollah has been stepping up its attacks on northern Israel, launching rocket attacks on new areas, expanding their strikes against Israeli communities. The new attacks come after Hezbollah fired thousands of rocket strikes into northern Israel since the Hamas sneak attacks on October 7th. Hezbollah's leader had previously threatened more violence against Israeli towns that had not yet been hit. Also in the Middle East is Israel and the U.S. highly critical of a new unity agreement between rival Palestinian factions Hamas and Fatah. The agreement was fostered by the Chinese government and signed in Beijing. Fatah is part of the Palestinian Authority that rules the West Bank, while Hamas controls Gaza and launched those attacks October 7th against Israel. Israel and the U.S. rejected any idea of Hamas as part of a ruling authority in Gaza. In a statement, Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz criticized the head of the Palestinian Authority, saying, quote, "Instead of rejecting terrorism, Mahmoud Abbas embraces the murderers and rapists of Hamas, revealing his true face. In reality," he goes on to say, "this won't happen because Hamas's rule will be crushed, and Abbas will be watching Gaza from afar. Israel's security will remain solely in Israel's hands," end quote. And our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief, that is, Chris Mitchell, is with us now from Jerusalem. Chris, let's begin with this threat from Hezbollah hitting a new group of Israeli communities with rocket attacks. What's going to be the response from Israel?
Well, Brody, the response goes on every day, and it has been for months, but this is an escalation by Hezbollah, going further down south. When you go up north, and we were there just about 10 days ago, you can hear the constant sound of warplanes and drones. And because of this new threat by Hezbollah, there's people in Nahariya, that's a coastal city on the Mediterranean. They'll be heading to bomb shelters almost 3 times a day. It's about 60,000 people. People are being told to avoid gatherings and move activities indoors. The Yalma research, and that's something that tracks Hezbollah and has been for years, they say Hezbollah is really taking a calculated risk, believing that if they do this and expand the targets inside Israel, that Israel won't go to war over this. But things could change quickly if they killed, say, a kindergartner or a number of civilians. And Brody, what it's up like north, these people are living in a war zone, and it's almost an everyday occurrence when dozens of rockets, missiles, sometimes drones that come from Hezbollah. It's a very, very difficult situation up there.
Well, what do you think? Are we going to go to war with Hezbollah? Is this inevitable? Is this something that everybody in Israel thinks and knows is going to happen?
Well, I think many people think it isn't inevitable. It's going to happen. There's the sense here, Brody, that something's got to happen. You just can't have maybe 60 to 100,000 Israelis away from their homes. The conventional wisdom right now is that Israel's going to finish the war with Hamas in the south and then turn to the north. But there's several factors that may convince Israel to actually wait until the spring. And the reason for this is that if they start soon, they're going to be ending up fighting in the winter, which is not a good time to be fighting a war. There's also another factor. There's something called the Iron Beam that is a laser anti-missile system that could come online maybe by September. It's very effective, apparently, and much less expensive. These Iron Dome interceptors are very expensive. And then another factor is the November elections in the U.S. And there's a sense that the Trump administration, if they go into office, are going to be much better ally, much more supportive of Israel than the Biden administration has been. And also for the springtime, I was talking to a military man who's been serving up in the north for a long time. He says spring is a much better time to fight in a war. But the question is, can they wait that long? Because it really is untenable for all these people to be out of their homes and livelihoods for almost 9 months now.
Well, you kind of indicated that it would be great to wait for such military aggression. We're surrounded. Israel's surrounded by this military aggression. Do you think if it were to begin today, would they be ready for such a war?
Well, they'd have to be, Brody, and I think they would do what they would have to do because it's just they really are surrounded by so many of these Iranian proxies, the biggest one, of course, being Hezbollah. The IDF has really beefed up its presence there since October 7th. They've been training up there for months, but it is a weary army. After 9 months of war, it's not a professional army, it's a civilian army, and yet there's really a sense, I think, among Israelis that they'll have to do what they have to do. We were in a restaurant the other day, and our waiter was a soldier that had been released from Gaza after fighting there. He told us he's ready to go up the north, and so I think there's a sense among most Israelis that it's inevitable that Israel must defeat Hezbollah, and actually some people believe it should take the land all the way to the Litani River and make Hezbollah pay inland.
Well, Chris, let's talk about this new agreement between these rival Palestinian factions, Fatah and Hamas. Does this agreement pose a new threat to Israel?
Well, I'm not sure as much as you would think. There's a lot of hype around this signing, Brody, but the official media of the Palestinian Authority is downplaying it. And they want, as they say, quote, they want to unify the Palestinian position under the framework of the PLO, meaning the PA, the Palestinian Authority, wants to be in control. There's been many attempts since 2007 to bring Fatah and Hamas together. They've all failed. And the reason for that is that Fatah wants to be the head, and they don't want Hamas to be ruling things. On the other hand, Hamas has the overwhelming support of the Palestinian people in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria.
But now China is involved in this agreement. Why is that?
Well, they want a greater role in the Middle East. They want to be a central player. They want to push out Russia and the U.S. influence from the Middle East. They want to promote themselves. It's all part of their Belt and Road initiative to expand its influence globally. And so I think that's a big reason why China's getting involved in this. And we'll see what happens. But it may not be the kind of big story that people think right now.
Well, Chris Mitchell from Jerusalem, thank you as always. Stay safe, and we will be lifting you and your team up in prayer. Coming up, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech to a joint session of Congress here in the U.S. today. This comes as Democrats are divided over their support for the Jewish state. We'll have that story for you when we come back. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is delivering a major speech to a joint session of Congress here in the U.S. today. His visit to Washington, D.C. comes as the Democratic Party is divided over its support for the Jewish state. CBN's chief political analyst David Brody brings us a closer look at those divisions.
When Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in the U.S. this week, no administration officials showed up to greet him. Vice President and soon-to-be presidential nominee Kamala Harris also chose a campaign event over attending Netanyahu's speech to Congress, something vice presidents typically do.
I'm not surprised that some of the more radical members of the Democratic Conference may boycott, but it's shameful when their top leadership is so willing to abandon a key ally.
This is due to a party in deep division over Israel. Even longtime supporters like Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer have backed away from the current Israeli government.
The Netanyahu coalition no longer fits the needs of Israel after October 7th.
The shift has been growing for years. In 2001, just 18% of Democrats nationwide sympathized with the Palestinians. Now, that number up to 38%. And in today's war between Israel and Hamas, more than half of Democrats, 53%, believe Israel is committing genocide against Palestinian civilians. Former New York State Assemblyman Dov Hikind says his former party is now unrecognizable.
I was a Democrat as an elected official for 36 years, but and now I'm a Republican, and it's obvious why. Because the Democratic Party has abandoned Israel.
And on Wednesday, there will be dozens of empty Democrat seats when Netanyahu speaks as a protest against Israel's war effort. Some have said they'll disrupt his address.
They don't want to show up, don't show up. The show will go on, the applause will go on. Netanyahu will present the reality of what Israel is faced with.
While the Biden administration is taking criticism for not being more supportive of Israel, the loudest voices in this intra-party division are coming from far-left members.
There are a few anti-Israel voices that have emerged in this party, just as there are in the Republican Party. We're doing our best to combat those voices, to make sure that they don't build more support from other members, but also to defeat them.
Mark Mellman's group Democratic Majority for Israel helped already defeat one anti-Israel member of Congress, Jamal Bowman, who lost his New York primary. Now they're targeting Congressional Squad member Cori Bush in Missouri. Mellman says that while defeating anti-Israel members of Congress is important, there's a major PR battle to be won, especially among younger liberals.
There's no question that a lot of young people particularly have been taken in by this misinformation. Those young people are going to become a majority, and those older people are going to be gone. And the reality is we have to make sure that those younger people in the population at large are as supportive of Israel as their parents and grandparents were.
If that's the goal, then the polling suggests mainstream pro-Israel Democrats have their work cut out for them. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
Still ahead, the Secret Service has a new director after Kimberly Cheatle resigned following her bruising hearing before Congress this week over the failure to protect former President Donald Trump before the assassination attempt. We'll have that story for you right after this break. The Secret Service has a new temporary chief after Director Kimberly Cheatle resigned Tuesday. This following tough questions taken during a heated congressional hearing on Monday and relentless criticism over the agency's failure to prevent the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. CBN senior Washington correspondent Tara Mergener brings us that story.
For the past 10 days, Cheatle had faced scrutiny, investigations, congressional hearings, plus calls from Republicans and Democrats to step down. This morning, she announced her departure. In an email to staff, Cheatle writes, "I take full responsibility for the security lapse. In light of recent events, it is with a heavy heart that I have made the difficult decision to step down as your director." And Cheatle added she didn't want calls for her resignation to distract from the agency's work and mission. Her action follows several hours of blistering questions from House lawmakers in this hearing on Monday.
Why was he allowed to take the stage with a suspicious person having been identified in the crowd?
Cheatle herself called the incident the most significant operational failure since the attempt to assassinate President Ronald Reagan.
On July 13th, we failed. As a director of the United States Secret Service, I take full responsibility for any security lapse of our agency.
Mounting criticism of her answers and unwillingness to share information led lawmakers from both parties to insist Cheatle step down.
It is my firm belief, Director Cheatle, that you should resign.
If you have an assassination attempt on a president, a former president, or a candidate, you need to resign.
Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer issued the following statement after Cheatle resigned. The Oversight Committee's hearing resulted in Director Cheatle's resignation, and there will be more accountability to come. The Secret Service has a no-fail mission, yet it failed historically on Director Cheatle's watch. At yesterday's Oversight Committee hearing, Director Cheatle instilled no confidence that she has the ability to ensure the Secret Service can meet its protective mission. House Speaker Mike Johnson met with the director before her testimony and appointed a bipartisan task force made up of 6 Republicans and 7 Democrats to investigate the shooting. He welcomed her decision.
The immediate reaction to her resignation is that it is overdue. She should have done this at least a week ago. I'm happy to see see that. I'm happy to see that she has heeded the call of both Republicans and Democrats.
On Truth Social, Trump had this to say about the news. The Biden-Harris administration did not properly protect me, and I was forced to take a bullet for democracy. It was my great honor to do so. Meanwhile, the Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner and the leader of a national policing union also faced questions Tuesday over law enforcement failures that led to the shooting.
We're conducting an investigation largely in concert with and parallel to the Bureau because the actions of crooks have federal legal implications and state law implications.
After Cheatle's announcement, President Biden thanked her for her service, saying, "We all know what happened that day can never happen again." In Washington, I'm Tara Mergener, CBN News.
Well, still ahead, some music for the soul. We'll tell you about somebody who wanted to be a singer when he was growing up so badly, and his father giving him that opportunity. Taking a closer look at that musical journey of an award-winning artist after this.
Get your daily quick start from CBN News. A quick read on the important news of the day delivered right to your inbox. Stay current on breaking news, politics, and entertainment. Go to quickstart.news and subscribe today.
Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Pastor Mike Jr. is a stellar award-winning artist who grew up wanting to sing. His father gave him that opportunity. And this story, just one part of an amazing musical journey.
If you hold on just a little while longer, I know he will come through just for you.
So we've known you for the last few years, but you've been doing this a whole lot longer as far as recording.
No, that's the crazy part. People believe, everybody keeps saying, where does he come from? Mm-hmm. So in 2009, I started Rock City Church in Birmingham, Alabama. My pastor spoke a word to me that I believe was God. He said, love God, love your family, love your city. And in 10 years, the world will come looking for you. So at 25, it's 10 of us. At 26, our church grows to about 1,500 people. At 27, it's 7,000 or 8,000 people in the arena, and God just kept growing it. In 2019, I'm in church, and I just randomly say, and it's gonna be big. It goes viral. And now you know about me.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
So you grow up following your dad. You wanted to sing.
Yeah, man, I would open for him. I say open, Lord. I would do the sermonic selection.
Yes.
I would come up and sing. I was my dad's praise and worship leader. I even recorded an album in his basement. I printed off 20 copies. He let me stand in front of the church. I went platinum. I sold all 20 copies, you know, and so I've always wanted to do music. Funny thing is, when you hear Big, when you hear I Got It, when you hear some of the songs we're doing now, like Winning, these are songs that been in my phone for years, but when God tells you to wait, you have to wait. And I believe there are so many people that are giving the devil credit for killing the dream that patience actually killed. And if you get patience, God will do things in due season.
Was patience easy for you?
No.
Okay.
No, I was ready to go, man. I never forget, we were in church and I'm preaching and I was like, there's a blessing out there with my name on it. And I went to the studio, recorded it. And I was like, hey, y'all, I'm gonna do this song in the church. It went plastic, you know? So I was like, I'm done with it. I'm not gonna do it. And lo and behold, I thought Big, I Got It. We were gonna drop this for church anniversary. That was it, you know, and a radio promoter came to our church, fell in love with one of my top volunteers. They come to my house for marital counseling. He goes, I can preach a sermon called The Wrong Turn. He says, where's the restroom? I say, go down the hall, make a left. He goes down the hall, makes a right. Says, why you got a studio in your house? I said, well, my therapist asked me, how do I deal with some of my anxiety? So I just record songs. He said, play something. I played I Got It. I said, what else you got? I played Big, and halfway through Big, he stopped and said, if you trust me, your life will never be the same. That's when he told me what he does. And show you how apropos this is, how favor-filled this is. Today, I just found out that my new single, Windows, just broke the Billboard record, most consecutive #1s out the gate. So it's just, all this is just happening. It's head swimming like, God, what are you doing? Yep.
mentioned Windows, charting. Tell me the history behind that song. How long did you have it before we finally get to hear it?
Yeah, so Windows is one of those songs that wasn't even supposed to be a song. Like, I'm done with the album, and Javon Hill, who's the head of the MVP band, he said, I'm gonna sing you something. It's a little different, but I know you're probably the only person who can do it. He said, it feels like Bruno Mars. And when I heard it, I instantly started singing. I called my friend Jaco from the Bahamas. I said, let's write this, man. And so we began to write it. And I think that's the best part. I tell everybody, I don't think I've sat down and necessarily penned a song, just penned it, like intentionally. Big was random in church. I got it. We went into it randomly at Bible study. Amazing. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
That's my favorite of all.
I didn't even know I was in concert. We're in Jacksonville, Florida, and I get there. The pastor says, tonight in concert. This is fresh off the pandemic. I look at the guy, I say, I only got 2 songs. He said, well, you got 50 minutes. And literally, once we got done singing Big and I got it, the keyboard player hit a chord. And I said, I remember when. And by the time we woke up that next morning, it was at 500,000 views. The Stellar Awards call and say, perform it. I have to run to the studio, make it a song. Impossible was a song we sung in Bible study. So for me, I'm either the luckiest person in the world or God. My strategy is, God, you tell me what to sing, I'm going to sing it. And so far, he's been blessing me.
Best is yet to come. He's opening up a window, baby.
It's always wonderful to see behind the scenes there. And Pastor Mike Jr.'s I Got Away project is available wherever you purchase your music online. Be sure to join us tonight for an all-new episode of Studio 5. We have a first look at the upcoming film called The Firing Squad. It's the true story of 3 Christians facing execution in a third world country who showed tremendous courage and faith leading up to that execution. From talks with actors James Barrington and Cuba Gooding Jr., who both star in the film. You can catch that new episode of Studio 5 tonight on the CBN News channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can also watch it on the CBN News app or on YouTube. That's going to do it for us here on CBN News Watch. Remember, you can always find more of our news online, the CBN News channel, anytime, or at cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen by emailing newswatch@cbn.com or talk to us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. God bless you. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time.